had the sense I was walking between worlds
Mm.
because it was very hard to stay conscious. And it was what concerned me, and this was so different than my normal personality because I've always been a go-getter, we'll figure it out, like a can-do kind of person. And what scared me was I didn't really care.
Mm.
That bothered me because it's just I was bleeding out. So they told me that, my physician told me that on the 3rd day. He said, "Wendy, we got to do surgery because you are bleeding out. We can't transfuse quickly enough, so we need to do surgery." So I agreed to the surgery. The surgery was gonna be the next morning, first surgery of the day, and, I have my dinner that night. I'm alone in my hospital room, and I just was trying to visualize a great outcome because I did have some relief that at least the decision had been made. Surgery made the most sense at this point because, that had been a question for the last few days. The minute I visualize a great outcome, I immediately leave my body. I pop right out of it. What a relief. No more pain. I feel more like myself. I look back over my shoulder. I see myself meaning Wendy in the bed, but I'm like, she's a hot mess. I can see that. She's whiter than the sheets. Her hair, she looks like a wild woman, but I really don't care. I need to go up to the light because all I could see was all this light flooding in from the ceiling of the hospital room. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm referring to myself in the third person. I've never done that before. Why am I calling myself she? So I realized, well, Wendy's an aspect of me, but that's just one body. That's just one incarnation. So things were starting to make a lot more sense to me. I had a much bigger worldview, which I'd never had before consciously. But again, I'm like, she's all right, very blasé about this poor body. And I just follow the light up. So I go up and up and up. I burst right through the ceiling of not only the room, but of the hospital. And I'm going faster and faster. And I'm looking down, going, oh, it's so beautiful. So it's like this Google Earth view of just this gorgeous scenery below me. But again, I don't really care because I am so focused on that light above and I can feel the pull to that. But then at a certain point, again, it was like I ran out of gas. I just didn't have enough energy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't make me walk through that tunnel because I don't think I have enough energy to get through the tunnel. I just want to get home. And the minute I thought that and asked for help and said, I don't think I have enough energy to get there on my own, this beautiful escalator comes in right in front of me. It like drops down. You get exactly what you need. It's pristine. So much light from this escalator. I'm like, oh, I can catch a ride. Thank you. So I plop onto the escalator and I now get a better sense of what my form is. And because I'm like a pancake. I'm like a pancake like hanging over the rail on the escalator, on the up escalator. And I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be like a beach ball. I'm supposed to be like all like so much energy and be this like round, big orb. And I'm flatter than a pancake. So I ride up on the escalator. In the minute I get to the top of it, it is amazing. One of the best experiences of my life because there waiting for me is this welcoming committee. There's so much light. I feel so fantastic to not be in pain and worrying anymore. And those angels are there in the background. I can see them because they're bigger and more light from them. But there's also my soul family is there. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's all my grandparents. And that made me go, oh, that's interesting because I knew my mom's parents really well, but my dad's parents had died before I was born. So I'd never met them, but I recognized them immediately. You just know the energy signature, you know the soul signature. So the grandparents are there. One of my best friends in my life now, who's not passed on, was there. And I recognized, I'm like, oh, that's her higher self. So that made me realize, wait a minute, we can be in a body and be on earth, and part of our energy is still up here with the light. So
Mm.
that was really cool. And as I get up there, everyone just gives me this big group hug. I could have stayed in that hug forever because it was unconditional love. And we don't feel that very often. And we've got to learn how to give it to ourselves, which I think perhaps has been part of your journey, to learn that self-love, that
Mm.
self-acceptance, and to just
Definitely.
be kind to ourselves, because we're so hard on ourselves often. We're so just judgmental and critical of ourselves, and we just tie ourselves up in knots when it's not necessary. So I'm getting this amazing, amazing hug. And the angel, Archangel Michael, I now recognize. I'm like, oh, these are the same angels that were in my bathroom. And he says to me, welcome home. We're so glad you're here. You've done nothing wrong. You're welcome to stay. You have the choice. So let me tell you what I can tell you, because you're going to need to decide quickly. And then I kind of flashed back on that not doing very well body in the hospital bed. I'm like, oh, yeah, I get what he means. So, what he tells me is, I can tell you three things. Number one, if you choose to go back, you will have a successful surgery tomorrow. You will regain your health completely. So, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is huge. Number two, your baby will be born healthy. Again, this is huge because I've not only had the NDEs, but morphine, blood transfusions, all in the first trimester of pregnancy. I mean, I am really worried about this. So to be told that my baby would be born healthy was huge. So this is all great and fantastic. Yes, doesn't this make you want to go back? But number three was the zinger. It was, he said to me very clearly, your life is going to be very difficult, likely for many years, because you're not on your life path.
To watch the full video, click the link below, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.